Hi guys, welcome to my channel, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elizabeth Ann and welcome to today's video. My camera's gonna die, so really quickly. Today is Mart Day. It is April 2nd, 20 days until my ankle surgery, but who's counting? Also, I feel so happy every time I'm in my kitchen now because I redid this little area. Is it not just the stinking cutest? Good morning. Spend the day with me as a fashion and film girly living in Atlanta. Today's extra special because I'm a manager of a boutique and today's Mart Day. So we headed over to Mart, found some amazing things. Obviously was very much fueled by Diet Coke today. I had a lunch break before we headed to do some more shopping. Then we headed back home. Today was extra exciting because I decided to treat myself to the bookstore. This is the hat I grabbed from the cash and carry. Here's my fit check. And then we walked over to Scholar and Scribe. I ended up picking up Jessa Hastings' new book as well as this Done and Dusted. I'm very excited to read them both. Okay, bye. Hi girls, absolutely please ignore the appearance. She just finished up Mart and she's deceased. Anyway, I just went to my local bookshop.
It's like a reward.
Forgot that there was a reason I wanted to go, and that was to get Miss Jessa's new book. I read, like, just look how glorious this is. Her covers are like none other. I was talking to the girl that was working there about how much I love her books and her covers. I'm so excited to read this. I actually had no clue what it was about, and it sounds really good. So I think I've tried this one before, like as a library book, so I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but Done and Dusted. And then lastly, they have these cute laminated bookmarks, and I couldn't decide, but I ended up getting the Emily Henry one. Like, how cute, how girly. Anyhow, so that's my book therapy of the week. Love you guys. Hey guys, it is so much later. I went to the bookstore after we got from Mart. I'm like so drained and I'm so tired, but I got sucked into one of the books I bought, which is Jessa Hastings' new release. It is called The Conditions of Will. The cover. Okay, anyway, I don't know, the camera's probably gonna die while I'm filming this, but I went to Scholar and Scribe after work and I picked up two books. This is one of the two. The other is what's it called? Lasso? No, not Lasso. Done and Dusted. I know everyone's obsessed. I tried to read a like Western romance book probably like a year ago now, and I just couldn't get into it. So we're gonna try it and test it out. But you guys, no one writes like Jessa Hastings. I always forget until I get into the middle of it that I'm so glad her books are so long, because I usually read like 250, 300 pages type books. But her writings are just so good, and this story is so good. When I saw it, I actually didn't even plan to grab it. I planned to just like go see what was new, maybe pick up a cute little summery rom-com, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot Jessa Hastings put out a new book, and it was just there. But it has so many like, feels like it was just like meant for me. London-based Georgia Carter, professional lie detector and body language savant, has long been estranged from her infuriating, closed-minded, wealthy South Carolina family. After a falling out years ago, the chasm runs deep between the black sheep, Georgia, and her gay, alcoholic brother, and their parents and elder siblings. But when their father dies suddenly, Georgia returns to the States for the funeral, where she comes face to face with Sam Penny, her brother's AA sponsor. Amid the tensions, dramas, and revelations of the family reunion, Georgia and Sam instantly are drawn to each other. However, Georgia's brother also harbors feelings for Sam, and the last thing Georgia wants to do is hurt the only family she's ever really had. When their father reveals a surprising bequest to a mysterious stranger, Georgia's ability to read becomes crucial in unraveling her father's hidden past. The delicate balance between family teeters and secrets, both old and new, now threaten to push them beyond the breaking point. There are only so many cracks a damaged family can take before it shatters. And literally the fact I've only scratched the surface. I'm like basically halfway, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much like that's about to just come into light. So I'm gagged. It's so good. Her characters, so amazing. And yeah, you guys know me. Love London. You guys know me. I'm sober. And she's such a great author, so I'll keep you guys updated. I really probably should go to bed because I work a double tomorrow, but I think I'm gonna try to make it to 300. You guys, when I tell you I have no words. Okay, well, for starters, I don't think I've ever sat down and just read 400 and I keep forgetting how many pages, like 450 pages, just like that. I am the most tired and worn out and sore I have been in a while. And you know, I guess my soul and my heart just needed that. So it's now 12:15. I have a few things I do want to say because obviously it was super late at night and I couldn't get my thoughts very clearly and cohesively across. But one thing I did leave out that I absolutely devoured from this book was the fact that Jessa tied it up with a beautiful bow, similar to what I felt after the Hotel Nantucket. Like, Ellen does such a good job at tying up her stories, and I'm not used to that with Jessa. I didn't read Never, although I do have a copy, but I'm used to her Magnolia Parks, where it always kind of leaves you wondering, okay, well, what's the next book gonna do? So it was so refreshing to read a Jessa Hastings book that had closure and ending and a beautiful, beautiful story. Oh my gosh. I'm really not great. I'm trying to get into booktube. I'm trying to be better at telling you guys the tea without telling you the tea. I'm not great at that. And I just can't, I have no words. This book was so good. As you guys saw, I got sucked in pretty fast. She just is seriously such a beautiful writer, and I just hang on to every word she writes. And yeah, okay. I mean, complex family situation, complex family relationships, complex family situation, and basically, as I read in the like intro, the dad of this family dies, and all of the siblings, who for the most part have not talked, I gotta think because there's so many kids. The youngest two have like severed the relationships with the rest of the family due to drama and complex things that happened in years previous, and the dad suddenly passes, and so they're forced to go back to South Carolina and deal with their rich people shit, aka trauma. So essentially just think the black sheep of the family are being forced to go deal with their black sheepness with their family. And it's so good. Essentially, George is in London, Oliver is a recovering alcoholic, as we covered, and he brings his sponsor. And very quickly it turns into a beautiful love story. It is everything to me. It is everything to me. And hearing about sober love stories is just everything I need in life. So anyway, it is just the most beautiful story about healing and love and all the things and all the twists and the tea and the drama. And absolutely the biggest plot twist no one saw coming. And I'm trying to think of like what else I can say without spoiling it, other than it was good. There were heavy parts, but there was a lot of love, so it was just like perfectly balanced. Anyway, so I'm gonna need you guys to go pick this up ASAP Rocky. I should have filmed more like while I was doing it, but my camera kept dying. So yeah, no words. I started this book, I actually have the text, so I think I started reading around like 9, and I was like, oh, I'll read like maybe 50 pages or something, and then I got sucked in. At 10:40 I was almost halfway, and then I just finished at 12, as we've covered. So yeah, that's gonna need, this immediately was added to 5 stars. This is next. I mean, just nowhere near the cadence of it. I was gonna say Magnolia Park's just a Hastings book, but excited to read something different. I also have this book that I said left out of my April TBR, the Paris novel. I'm very excited to read this one. And if you guys are on like the outskirts of Atlanta, I know I've already talked about this, but if you've never seen my face or my channel before, one of my favorite like suburb bookstores, or I'd say probably my favorite, I'm trying to think, yeah, probably my favorite, is Hills and Hamlets. And they have the best workers there, and they have the best suggestions, and they're just great. So I'm very excited. I've been wanting to read this for a while. So anyhow, hi guys, good morning. It is like 9. I woke up at 8 on the dot because AT&T was coming, and I knew in my bones that they were gonna be here first thing in the morning, and they were at the earliest time. He called me, he was like, "Did I wake you up?" And I was like, sort of. Anyway, I'm up now, and I've had some of my coffee. Sorry I didn't vlog any of it. Anyway, so we're on to the next book. Hi. I have been listening. I have been waiting until like I was in the headspace to read this book, and I've been listening because I have it on Libby, and that is going to be Matthew Perry's memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Terrible Thing. Yeah, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. And oh my goodness, for starters, if you guys, oh my goodness, it's good so far. It's so sad, especially because I'm not too sure. I'll have to like look at this, but I think this came out pretty soon to his death. Yeah, it was just published in November, and then he died like a year later. So in the thing, like it's just like so crazy to listen to, because he's like talking about like, I feel like it's recent things that come out, but after I looked it up, it came out, the movies he's talking about like came out around the time of the book being published. But anyway, all to say is he talks about like being excited about like this movie being his big break or whatever. It's just like so sad to think like, oh, he didn't know like that would be probably was like the last thing he filmed other than like the friend reunion maybe. I don't know. I'd have to actually do research. But sorry, I was so scatterbrained. But basically what I wanted to say about it so far, I'm about 3.5 hours in, is it's really good. It's really sad. And it's just so crazy to hear because it's like he is talking about how he thought he was going to be in this movie that came out like fairly recently. It probably came out around the time this was published, like 2021, 2022. And it's just so weird to like think about how just the concept of like he was here and now he's gone. And with any death it's like that, but to hear him talking about like all these recent things and then to be like, oh well, he was so like in a way hopeful. And also it's just like eerie, like because at one point he says something about like dying and said people wouldn't be surprised, they'd be in shock, or people wouldn't be in shock, it would catch them off guard, but essentially saying that it wouldn't surprise anybody because they all saw it coming. And that is what happened. It's so sad. I think addiction is such a hard thing to deal with, and being a fellow addict, I do think a lot of the times, because I do think about it more than most, obviously. And I also think about all the people, there's just some people that are so close but like can't quite grasp it, and they can't get what you know they need. And it's really, really sad. I would say I did a whole like sober video where I talked about my sobriety and everything, and I talked about that and how like one of the hardest parts in recovery and being active in like AA and other recovery meetings and whatnot is the fact of the people that come through the doors that you just wish you could just like shake and be like, this is it, this is it, this is the answer, this is how you do this. And it just can't click with them. And for a lot of people, it takes a really long time. What I couldn't get out here, what I was trying to say is like sobriety is not linear a lot of the times. And for most people that are in any of the programs, it is a roller coaster. And hearing Matthew Perry tell his story through his voice in one sitting was so heartbreaking to hear, because for everyone that deals with sobriety, addiction, alcoholism, like whatever it is, it's not some linear, like you just quit drinking and life is perfect and life is okay. It's something you have to fight for every single day. And a lot of people, unfortunately, go in and out of the rooms and recovery and whatever. And it was so heartbreaking, but I am so glad that I ended up listening to it, to hear just it all put on paper or audiobook and how I was listening to it, his lifelong struggle with addiction and when it began. And obviously we know now when it ended, and yeah, it is just killer. But I am glad that I took the time to wait until I was in the space to listen to it. But I so dearly loved Matthew Perry so much. I loved Friends. Friends is my comfort show, as it is for millions upon millions of people in the world. And I remember watching the Friends reunion that they did on HBO and being like, maybe he's just like struggling with whatever dental surgery they said he had. But you know, anyway, very sad. But I did finish it, and it was really good. It was really sad, knowing what I know now, you know? Anyway. So yeah, back to happy rom-coms. I'm so glad I read the book I'm about to read simultaneously, because it was a great escape. So anyhow, back to happy books. Let's get into it. And, it's just like some people they just can't get it. And it's heartbreaking. I don't know how people who like work in the recovery and like rehab spaces deal with it, because just as like a bystander, as knowing people from meetings and stuff, and then hearing the news, it's just like so sad. But anyway,
did I ever tell you about how I saw love when I was young?
okay, you guys, I was gonna say much later, but it's really just like probably an hour, maybe hour and a half later. Did not do well with the whole time management thing. I was supposed to get up and go work out an hour ago, so I'm just gonna pop over, grab my package, and ride the bike for probably like 15 minutes and then come back and get ready, because I have 30 minutes before I need to start getting ready for work. Correct. Anyway. Oh, actually I have like 45 minutes. Yeah. Anyway, I finished Elizabeth of East Hampton, and I looked up everything so I could tell you guys the correct. So they started this series. This is book number 2, the Jane Austen series. The first one is based in Manhattan and a lot of modern dating things. I love this. It was like a modernized version of Pride and Prejudice, and that was their inspiration. It's so cute. It's such like a coastal summer cute read, and I once again read it in one sitting. Like if a book gets me, and I'm not gonna put it down unless I have to go to work. But in this case, I finished it before I had to go to work, Anywho, I would give it 4 stars out of 5. I mean, it was cute. For it to be a 5-star read, it has to be like insanely good. So on a scale of Jessa Hastings to whatever, I would give it a 4. It was a super cute, fun read, and I just love it. I love a good enemies to lovers. I love a good enemies to lovers, and it was so cute. And yeah, so definitely add it. I'm really not good at telling recaps without spoiling things, but it was chef's kiss. Hi guys, just walked in from Barnes & Nobles. I did a TikTok vlog, but I'm going to enter that here. Come with me to avoid having a minty bee. And this is my pre-minty bee routine to avoid from having a minty bee. Anywho, first stop is going to the Utah Soda Shop dupe. Can I do a medium, do you have Sprite Zero?
Yeah, we do.
Can I do a medium Sprite Zero with coconut cream, free popcorn, sugar-free pina colada? And now let's get into it. I was having a little bit of, I had a few tough days, and so the only way I know to cure my minty bee was to go do what you saw in the previous slide. I just got my book of the month in the mail. I did get Passion Project. I got Passion Project for my book of the month, and look how cute. Because I'm a friend, I guess you get a pink one. And I almost added more books this month, but I'm glad I didn't because I have so many books right now. Speaking of books, like I said, I did go to Barnes & Noble. And this is what I went for, which is Emma of 83rd Street. And it is the first book in the series of Elizabeth of East Hampton. And it's just a modern retelling of Emma. So very excited, and they didn't have it at the Barnes & Noble. I'm going to be by it tomorrow, so just went ahead and grabbed it. Also fell for this. I literally said I wasn't going to read any more of this series because the last 2 disappointed me, but I saw some people say it was better than the previous ones, so hoping that's true. I love a small town romance. I know we're not shopping from Target, but I had to meet a minimum to order Percy Pigs, which is what, if you guys saw the previous vlog, I don't know if I uploaded it on here or not, but I went to go get, I went to go get Summer in the City, and they didn't have the Percy Pigs. Apparently they've gone mega viral on TikTok for being like a Swedish candy dupe, which is so disrespectful to Miss Percy. Been a fan since day one, but the only way I could get it is if I ordered it online, so I had to order online, and then you had to spend $35. You get the drill, so I ended up getting the set. And if you guys remember from last summer, my tried and true were these great linen pants from Target. And I saw they had this cute shorts version. So I got the short, which I already have this in the green and the checkered color. And I just love them. They're so easy to throw on. I love nothing more than a linen pant during the summer. So I wanted to grab that just to have that as a basic, mostly because my pants are so faded. I should have bought pants, but I saw this and fell for it, and you guys will see. I really hope this works because I have a linebacker shoulders. Stop it. How cute is that? Anyway, so that's what I fell for. And of course, my Percy Pigs aren't here yet. They said they'd be here Wednesday, so I'm gonna be really upset if I ordered all this just for the Percy Pigs and they don't come. Anyhow, I am going to do some laundry and get to reading some more. And yeah. Okay, you guys, I've been editing. I'm almost done with this video that you guys are about to watch. Or I guess you're watching it, so that made no sense. But excuse me, I've read like 5 days in a row and I'm like so brain-fried. Anyway, I've been watching a lot of booktube, obviously, trying to get videos, get book recs, and also just like I love watching booktube. And so yeah, I am going to in this vlog, but before I do that, I'm gonna grab a few books that I have now added to my April TBR since the last video. So let's do that really quick. Okay, so it turns out I just had a complete like I had a complete brain fart when I was at the lake that I had all these books at home that I had to read. Okay, did I forget though that at the lake that I had so many TBRs here? And yeah, I sort of did. So anyway, let's go over a few things. First of all, I've gone over probably a little too much in this book. Also, I want to apologize about the atrocious lighting. I don't even know what to say. You have to go read this if you're even slightly a Jessa fan. So amazing. Elizabeth of East Hampton was a great summer read. I definitely recommend if you're looking for a cute summer read. I feel like this is so fun, especially if you're a Pride and Prejudice fan or a Jane Austen fan. So love the modern retelling. I'm not even gonna try to go into it with you, but just go read. Go check it out for yourself. I have the physical book, but I'm actually listening to the audiobook of People We Meet on Vacation. It's a reread for me. I fell in love with it years ago when I was in London and read it. But I wanted to reread it before the series starts getting out, or the movie. I can't remember if it's series or movie. Book of the month, as you guys just saw, Bennett Taylor should be living the best years of her life, but she's failing miserable, emphasis on miserable. Adrift in NYC, she has no direction and no energy to find one. When Bennett is set up on a first date with Henry Adams, she drunkenly confesses that she's not ready to love again. In fact, she doesn't feel passion for anything. Not pottery, not sports, nothing. Irrepressibly adventurous, Henry offers to help Bennett uncover her passion for life. Every Saturday, they'll try a new activity, as friends, of course. Their passion project finds them sampling photography, tattooing, even rappelling off of skyscrapers. But when secrets surface, Bennett finally has to face the grief that's holding her back. With tenderness and electric banter, Passion Project is a story of finding a spark and igniting happiness. It sounds seriously so good. And like I said, the cover is stunning. It's about 350 or 320 pages. I'm very excited to read this. Okay, I've had this for probably like a month now, and I'm having to read it. It's the Paris novel. When her estranged mother dies, Stella is left with unusual inheritance, a one-way plane ticket, and a note reading, "Go to Paris." Stella is hardly cut out for an adventure. A traumatic childhood has kept her confined to the strict routines of her comfort zone. But when her boss encourages her to take time off, Stella resigns herself to honoring her mother's last wish. Alone in a foreign city, Stella falls into old habits, living cautiously and frugally. Then she stumbles across a vintage store where she tries on a fabulous Dior dress. The shopkeeper insists that the dress was meant for Stella, and for the first time in her life, Stella does something impulsive. She buys the dress and embarks on an adventure. Her first stop, the iconic brasserie Les Deux Magos, I don't know, where Stella tastes her first oysters and meets an art collector who decides to take her under his wing. As Jules introduces Stella to a veritable of who's of poetry, literature, art, and culinary worlds in Paris, she begins to understand what it might mean to live a larger life. As weeks, many decadent meals go by, Stella ends up living as a tumbleweed at a famed bookstore, Shakespeare & Company, uncovers a 100-year-old mystery in a Monet painting, and discovers a passion for food that may be connected to her past. A feast for the senses, this novel is a testament to living deliciously, taking chances, and finding your true home. I'm so excited to read that. That sounds absolutely divine. Alright, as you guys saw, I picked this one up, and I've already said this, but Emma of 83rd Street is a retelling of Emma. Beautiful, clever, and rich, Upper East Sider Emma Woodhouse has lived 23 years with very little distress. That is until her sister's marriage and subsequent move downtown. So when she meets Nadine, a wide-eyed Ohio transplant with a heart of gold and a drugstore blonde highlights to match, Emma sees not only potential for a new friend, but a new project. If only her overbearing neighbor, George Knightley, would get out of her way. Handsome, smart, and successful, the one thing that frustrates Knightley more than a corked whiskey is his childhood friend Emma. Whether it's her shopping sprees or her revolving doors of hobbies, he is more than happy to lecture her on the finer points of adulthood. But much to his chagrin, Knightley can't help but notice that the girl next door is a woman now, one he suddenly can't seem to get out of his head. As Emma and Knightley collide with everyone from meddling family members to playboy millionaires, the two friends slowly realize their need to always be right has been usurped by a new need entirely, and that even the most familiar stories have some surprises. Sounds amazing. We went over these two. I've decided I'm going to go back and read Meet Me at the Lake first, I believe. And then I have not DNF'd this, but I did not get into this as fast as I was hoping. So I'm going to put her back on the bookshelf. She is going to be exiting from the April TBR. And now we come to the last two. Now this one I have been putting off for years to read. I've been really saving it. And I want to say that this is the book that everyone says is super similar to Every Summer After, but I can't remember. But it is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. Macy Sorensen is settling into an ambitious, if emotionally tepid, routine. Work hard as a new pediatrics resident, plan her wedding to an older, financially secure man, keep her head down and heart tucked away. But when she runs into Elliot, the first and only love of her life, the careful bubble she's constructed begins to dissolve. Once upon a time, Elliot was Macy's entire world, growing up from her gangly, bookish friend into the man who coaxed her heart open again, only to break it in the very night he declared his love for her. Told in alternating timelines between then and now, teenage Elliot and Macy grow from friends to much more, spending weekends and lazy summers together in a house outside of San Francisco, devouring books, sharing favorite words, and talking through their growing pains and triumphs. As adults, they've become strangers to one another until their chance reunion. Although their memories are obscured by the agony of what happened that night so many years ago, Elliot will come to understand the truth behind Macy's decade-long silence, and will have to overcome the past and himself to revive her faith in the possibility of an all-consuming love. That does sound like Every Summer After. Okay. Last one. Also, we already hauled in this video the Strawberry Patch Pancake House. As a world-renowned chef, single dad Archer never planned on moving to a small town, let alone running a pancake house. But Dream Harbor needs a new chef, and Archer needs a community to help raise his daughter. Iris has never managed to hold down a job, so when Mayor Kelly suggests Archer is looking for a live-in nanny, she almost runs the opposite direction. Now Iris finds herself in a whole new world, one where her gorgeous new boss lives right across the hall and likes to cook topless. Keeping everything strictly professional should be easy, right? I remember why this made me LOL when I went to Friday Harbor, because this was called Dream Harbor, and I was like, oh, this is totally could have a book series from here. Anyway, small town romance. Anyway, sounds good. Sounds delightful. Sounds like a super easy, quick read. So, I don't know where I'm going to start. Oh my god, I missed one. You guys. Okay, so I hauled this, I believe, in this video, but I didn't even read the info. For the first time in her life, Emmy Ryder has no idea what she's doing. She's accomplished everything on her to-do list. She left her small hometown of Meadowlark, Wyoming, went to college, and made a career for herself by doing her favorite thing, riding horses. But after an accident makes it impossible for her to get back into the saddle, she has no choice but to return to the hometown she always wanted to escape. Luke Brooks is Meadowlark's most notorious bad boy, bar owner, and bachelor. He's also the unofficial fifth member of the Ryder family. As Emmy's older brother's best friend, Luke spent most of his childhood antagonizing her. It's been years since he's seen her, but when she walks into his bar and back into his life, he can't take her eyes off of her. Against his better judgment, he wants to do a whole lot more than just look at her. Emmy's got too much on her mind to think about romance, and Luke knows he should stay away from his best friend's younger sister. But what if Luke is just what Emmy needs to get her spark back? Or will they both go up in flames? So excited. Like I said, I am not a huge, Western romance girly. I know it's very in right now, and there's this series, I don't know if it's a series or this author is, super popular. I tried to read a Western romance a couple months ago, or it was probably, a year ago now. I think it was around Christmas last year. And I just can't get into it, so I'm hoping to get into this one, and I think I'm going to pick this one up next. So, yeah. So anyway, I'm going to end off the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed, and comment down below what you're reading. I'm thinking about doing a wrap up after I finish maybe a few more books of my yearly what I've read so far. I think maybe once I hit 15, I think right now I'm at 12. So after the next few books, I'm probably going to do a reading wrap up. So anyhow, love you guys. Mwah.